republic,
aristocracy,
monarchy, anarchism, federalism, socialism,
theocracy,
meritocracy, plutocracy,
democracy, kleptocracy, oligarchy.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I'm pleased to welcome you once again to the 17th L.A.S.T. Congress. Before I begin, I would like to thank my fellow colleagues of the Université Communauté who have dedicated time and effort through all these years to this fine cause that is the L.A.S.T. research program. It has been a toilsome, enriching journey and it's not yet to end. I would also like to thank the 4 talented representatives in charge of the current research. Mrs. Paula Nike, representative in charge of the Direct Democracy program. Mrs. Christine Lugano, representative of the Federal Presidential Republic program. Mr. Damon Arrow, representative of the Anarcho-Capitalist program. And last but not least, Mr. Harrison Fax, representative of the Mediocratic Republic program. Thank you again for being here today. I hope my fellow colleagues won't mind me getting a little more into details for the few visitors in the audience. To spare you the scientific gibberish, the story of this year's crisis was, on the first day of spring, a rather large number of genetically modified plants scattered all across the territory by the government in order to spread around a genetic vaccine against potential biological terrorist attacks would, by mistake, diffuse a defective bacterial cocktail. This defect, a rather violent microbe of the cocktail known as purple TCDD, would then lead to a negative immune response of the whole population, triggering a widespread quarantine which would slow the economic growth down.
Oh, his eyes say evil. Bam! You're gone! You can't deny this is unstable.
Given the mentality of the people in your system, it might be, I presume. Though the citizens of a direct democracy take these decisions very seriously.
Well, they sure have a lot of time on their hands.
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing. Though I would love to take a look at the economic state of this wonderful system of yours.
Well, be my guest. You may realize that this is not ancient Greece anymore. We don't need slaves to do the work while we sit in the assembly. We've got the internet now, you know. For your information, though I doubt you care, the system is organized around online agoras on which people can share ideas and fears, and as a matter of fact, vote for daily referendums in the blink of an eye.
Right, so they click on...
They do care, Mr. Arrow. They don't just click on yes or no without thinking about it, as you were about to suggest. That's what we call political awareness, and it's a pretty strong factor in this pattern. People do care about politics. I imagine how it can be a strange notion for you, given the way people think in your program.
Please, dear colleagues, there's no need for personal bickering.
Well, what I mean is that there's no real federal government which rules the states altogether anymore. The states are, in a way, pretty independent. Though they wrote treaties to regulate their economic relationships, as well as a shared constitution, they each have a government of their own.
You mean that the federal presidential republic you are in charge of has transformed itself into a confederation?
Well, let's say, not really.
What do you mean, not really? Has it turned into a confederation or not?
I wouldn't say...
Come on, admit it, Mrs. Lugano.
Well, it has transformed itself, sure, but I don't know if we could call it a confederation.
What you described before is precisely the definition of a confederation.
Will you stop kidding around, Mrs. Lugano? You said the same thing for your last program. It mutated, but not really. Whatever. What was it already?
In fact, Mrs. Lugano's last research program was the Confederation.
No way. Are you kidding me?
What a funny coincidence.
Well, I know that we've tried the confederation before and it didn't work out.
Screwed up. That's what you did.
And I know that by the looks of it, my current research program could be considered a confederation.
The looks of it? Can you believe that? That is a confederation, Mrs.
Mr.
Lugano.
Arrow, will you please let Mrs. Lugano speak?
What I'm saying is that it could actually work this time, that's all.
Come on. We all know how it will evolve. Pardon me, but even though I think you're doing a very fine job, Mr. Fax, I don't really see the point of your program. In fact, one could argue that your pattern is very similar to mine. Though to obtain the same results with fewer mistakes, as I recall, I did not need any of this entertainment rubbish. So I guess
Excuse me, but what you very professionally describe as rubbish has still enabled the citizens of my pattern to take the interior into account for their vote. Something that your citizens forgot.
At least the citizens of my pattern did not forget about Pharmacon Incorporated.
Then it's a tie. At least the citizens of my program don't have to live with the fear of being ostracized every time they do something slightly wrong.
That's right.
You know that's not the way it goes.
If I may add something to that, at least his citizens don't have to be all well-educated, like in your uptake democracy.
That's very mature, Mr. Arrow.
Mr. Arrow's right, though. My program invites a much broader diversity of opinions. Everyone is free to think and do as they desire. There's no social pressure of any kind.
But you can't deny that this can cause problems as well. All it would take is a more attractive newswoman on one channel for the opinion to change completely.
My citizens are way past that point, Mrs. Nike.
But this entertainment system is a game, Mr. Fex, and we're talking about politics here.
But why separate the two? All we want to do is for people to participate, don't we? If that works, why not?
Because politics is a serious matter.
It doesn't have to be.
All right, time is up. Let us proceed to the deliberation, shall we?